Hello and welcome to What to Do When with Trading Supra. My name is Jared Putnam, and in this brief video we're going to just go over a few different scenarios with the help of a document. So I'll scroll the document as we talk about each scenario, and we're starting with the image here where the open is above EdgeMinder support. And so you have EdgeMinder support on your screen. The market has opened and is currently trading above EdgeMinder's support, and at that point the question is, what do I do and when do I do it? And so what you would do, we have the open. You would identify first where is EdgeMinder's support. You would then place your buy line. Your Tradulator buy line would be placed at the top edge of EdgeMinder's support while the market, hopefully within a few minutes of the open you can get that placed. And so you would simply have your Tradulator strategy open and be able to just then go to click buy line and then place the buy line, click again, left click on the chart, and that will place the buy line wherever you click. And so you'd select at the top edge of EdgeMinder support zone and then just go up and click the long button so that it's green, and that will engage Tradulator so that if and when the market trades lower, as we can see in this example, if the market does sell off and land at or below EdgeMinder's support, Tradulator will then be in a position to potentially send orders to execute a trade if the conditions are there. And so we'll now move to another scenario. So just scrolling here. And this has to do with Supra day range. And so when you have Supra day range support, so that's what happens, and the question is, what do I do when that happens? And so we're looking at the top image. And so when you have day range support, so this is kind of not super easy to see, but this little highlighted zone is Supra day range price zone. And when you have a Supra day range support emerge, you go to place your Tradulator buy line at the top edge of that support. And so as the day range appears, that may appear over here. That gives you a few minutes in this case, sometimes longer. Sometimes the market pulls right back to the zone. So as soon as you can, you want to go to your buy line and place that at the top edge of Supra day range support, and then click long so that the Tradulator strategy is enabled. And that way, if the market pulls back, as we can see it did, then it gives Tradulator the chance to potentially find a trade for you. And so when the pullback, though, is beyond Supra day range support low, price extreme. So in this case, we have the pullback and the market has bounced. Price recovers to trade above the top of Supra day range zone. When that happens, what do you do? Let's now shift our focus to the lower image. And so here we have our Tradulator buy line has been placed. We can see the market pulled back, pushed up. It departed from the day range support zone, and then though reversed and traded lower. And so as we can see here, price pushed below the zone, back up above, and so we would just re-engage at that time, looking for a possible Tradulator fill at the top of day range support. Before that happens, however, when we have this push up here, we could also engage the buy line just below this pullback low and give Tradulator the chance to possibly send an order, pick up on a trade in this pullback area here at the bottom of the day's chart. And so that's just a quick look at what to do. The what in this case has to do with Supra day range, and when do you do it? Just a few different scenarios that can develop and what to do regarding those scenarios. So here's a different scenario. This is when the market opens in between both EdgeMinder support and EdgeMinder resistance. So you have resistance above, you have support below. Here's the open. And so what do we do when that happens? In that case, you want to place your buy line at the top edge of EdgeMinder's support. and then enable Tradulator with the long button. And then you also want to immediately go and place in either order, the sell line or the buy line first, but immediately following that, place the other. So if you place the buy line first, immediately then go to your sell line and place your Tradulator sell line at the bottom edge of EdgeMinder resistance, and then just make sure that's enabled with the short button turned to green. And so that's for an open between EdgeMinder support and resistance. You just want to put your buy line at the top edge of support, your sell line at the bottom edge of resistance, and make sure they're activated. When EdgeMinder resistance is above the market at the open, so the market is opened and EdgeMinder resistance is above, what you want to do in that case is simply grab your sell line and place it at the bottom edge of EdgeMinder resistance and then click short. In some cases, the market might take quite some time to reach EdgeMinder resistance. In other cases, it can snap up to it rather easily. And so that way you're prepared. You just set it, and then if and when the market does reach your sell line or trade above it, Tradulator will be able to look for trades for you. This has to do with when you have day range in a sell side scenario. So the market's selling off and you have Supra day range resistance. When that happens, what do you do and when do you do it? First, you want to just be aware that you have a day range resistance zone. So you want to watch your charts for these as they can appear and go away depending on market input. So when they do appear, if it's day range resistance, you want to place your Tradulator sell line at the bottom edge of day range resistance, and that way right around in here perhaps or over here, day range appeared. And so that way if the market does trade up into the zone, Tradulator has a chance to get you short and you have the opportunity to execute a trade at a potential turning point. So now we'll talk about when a Tradulator entry is triggered. I get questions regarding target 1 and target 2, and this is a general guide. Obviously this can change depending on circumstances, depending on your own personal goals, but if you're looking for a default approach to start off with, then a target 1 plan, once you're filled, and you can ahead of time, as you can see here, you can select target A, that's for your smaller target. You can pre-select that in your settings, and you can even control it after you've put Tradulator up on your chart. You can just click this up or down. And so in this example, we're looking at NQ. And so 10 ticks in NQ is $50. And so for a default smaller target, you can go for a $50 smaller target. And so what that means is as soon as Tradulator executes a trade for you, it will also place your smaller target for you. And if you tell it to place it 10 ticks ahead of your entry, that's what it will do. And so that puts you in line to pick up a $50 bill on some small cooperation, enables you to collect money and at the same time reshuffle your risk, reducing it significantly, if not all the way, if you want to put your stop at your entry. And so it just turns it into a winning scenario very, very quickly. For your larger target, I'm going to scroll this up just a touch. So for your larger target, target 2, just as a general guide, triple your smaller target. Enables you to be a part of, when the market is ready to move, enables you to be a part of that burst of potentially easy ticks where the market's ready to move and you're there. Tradulator puts you there right as it's ready to give in, and you're able to collect those rather quickly. And so triple your small target simply means that you'll get out at a profit of approximately $150. And so just as a general guide, as a default plan for profit taking, you can use this as a guide, and that's how you do it. Your risk plan. So this is what do I do? I'm filled. And so where do I want my stop to start off with? And so in this case, we can see here, and this is a general guide as well, place initial stop loss 2 ticks beyond your most recent pivot high if you're short or pivot low if you're long. And so we're looking at the start of a pivot low. As you may know, pivot low is a pullback with at least 2 periods to the left and 2 periods to the right with higher lows. In this case, though, we just have it to the left, so this is assuming a fill had just happened in this scenario. What should I do and when should I do it? The when is as soon as you're filled. You would want to place your stop just a couple of ticks below what could become a pivot low and in the period where you're filled long. If you're short, it would just be the same thing, just reversed. And so looking for a high that has at least 2 lower highs to the left, and if possible, 2 lower highs to the right, but sometimes that's not possible depending on how the market has moved. So when target 1 is filled, what do I do and when do I do it? And so when target 1 is filled, place your stop loss at your entry price once the market has advanced twice your small target. And so again, as a general guide, we're looking at a fill, we're looking at a small target winner, and then we're looking at the market starting to punch upward. And here it has reached double the small target roughly. We can see the fill is 81.99 3/4, and we can see the current market price 82.06. And so it's gone a little bit better than double the small target. And so when that happens, you would move your stop loss to your entry price at that point, reducing the risk on the open positions to a break-even stop. And when trade your later entry is triggered and exit happens after only target 1 is filled. So in this case, we've got a sell line that has been placed. The market has pushed up. The trade was triggered. However, only the smaller target was reached. The question is, when that happens, and the market is still at the sell line, and you can just reverse this scenario for a buy side scenario, but we've got a sell line example here. So the original trade your later sell line placement based on resistance, and it could be resistance such as edge-minder resistance, it could be day range resistance, either one. You've gotten your fill, you've gotten your small target, it's a winning trade, the market comes back, stops you out of your entry. The question is, when that happens, what do I do? And the answer is you would replace your trade your later sell line. So here's where it originally was. You would replace it to just a tick or two above this push up, these prior highs. And as it turns out, in some cases, the market will probe to higher highs only to then later on relent, fail, and roll over and sell off. It'll also, in a buy side example, it will pull back and then pull back a little further only to then take off to the upside. And so we want to prepare for that by placing our trade your later sell line at the pullback highs. Then once the market pushes, if it pushes up, then trade your later has the opportunity to possibly fill us once again short, in which case we would still just look for our small target. Once it goes to twice the small target, move our stop to our entry and just manage the trade anew. And so that's just a brief look. We've talked about what to do when the market opens above edge-minder support, when the market opens below edge-minder support, or resistance, pardon me. In those cases, we simply place our buy line at the top edge of edge-minder support or our sell line at the bottom edge of edge-minder resistance. We've talked about Supra day range. When you have a Supra day range support, we place our trade your later buy line at the top edge of day range support and at the bottom edge of day range resistance in the case of a market selling off and generating new instances of potential day range resistance. We've also talked about some of the details as far as how to manage the risk side of the equation. First, we want to place our stop just beyond a pivot high when short and just beyond a pivot low when long. When we look for a smaller target, and again, targets play a key are a key part in managing risk. Many traders struggle with taking profit, and so Tradulator has built into it profit targets so that it addresses that weakness in a lot of traders' process and helps bolster you up so that you're actually profiting from your good trades, your good entries. And so the smaller target, just as a general guide, we look for a $50 worth of progress in whatever symbol we're trading. And when we get that, we look to take profit. And when we get twice the small target worth of progress, so once the market has advanced $100 per contract as a general guide, we look to then place our stop at our entry. And then just as a default larger target, we can look for triple our small target, so $150 per contract. And that very often times when the zone is effective and when the timing is there, that very often can happen. Of course, there are losses, and losing is a part of trading, so that's not always the case where you win, of course. And then we've also talked about when the market pulls back. As we can see on our screen here, when the market does pull back, gets us a fill, but then does not turn into a larger target winner, and in fact then starts to come back into our zone, how do we adjust and what do we do and when do we do it? And so when that happens, we look to move our Tradulator, if it's a resistance scenario like we have on the screen, we place our Tradulator sell line just above or just at the prior pullback highs where we got our fill. And so in this case, it would be at that purplish circle. And then we place our Tradulator line just above that where we have number 5 listed on this illustration. And then that gives us Tradulator the chance to, if the market wants to probe higher into new, further into resistances, then that gives Tradulator the chance to weigh the opportunities and recognize any shifts that may be significant enough to merit getting short once again. And so hopefully this helps answer a few of your questions regarding what to do when, how to maximize the value of the Supra software tools that we've put together. And so if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to contact me, hello@tradingsupra.com. So just HELLO @tradingsupra.com. Just send an email and let me know if you have any feedback, any questions, any follow-up questions. And hopefully this helps everyone trade safely, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.